Video games fucking suck, right, guys? Like, everyone knows this, or at least everyone on this goddamn website. I cannot go more than 10 minutes on this website without seeing someone complain about video games, okay? And it can be anywhere from pissing on AAA and quadruple A studios, saying that they ruined gaming. It can also be someone complaining that video games are too gay and too feminine, and then it's the other way around as well. There are people who complain that video games aren't inclusive, aren't gay enough, aren't feminine enough, and it's like this hellhole where people just complain. And honestly, the irony is we've never had it better. Gaming is more accessible than it was ever before. I don't care how much people are gonna say you've never lived the Modern Warfare 2 lobby days when I could just throw in slurs in the voice chat and group chat and whatever. And yeah, boo-hoo, we missed the train on that, but let's face it, back then gaming was still that weird kid that everyone made fun of. It was reserved for weird losers, neckbeards living in the basements of their parents, unemployed people. It wasn't as widespread. It wasn't the norm that it is today. And I feel like most people who keep complaining about this are the people who have never set their sights beyond the AAA industry. No wonder your life is miserable as a consumer when your most anticipated games are made by the same studios that everyone knows haven't done this shit for years because of their passion. Oh, why did Assassin's Creed Shadows flop? Because of Ubisoft. Why did the 17th hero shooter that was released this year flop? Why did the soulless fantasy RPG copy and paste game flop? If you keep digging deeper into a pit of just feces and wonder why you stink of shit, and it's time to look in the mirror, okay? Luckily for us true gamers, there is a place where you can find top tier games, dirt cheap, that have way more passion put into them than any of those AAA games. Oh my god, get that shit off my screen. Games that even your 200 euro gaming PC piece of shit, okay, it's not gonna run anything. Let's face it, it's not even gonna run the games that I'm talking about, okay? And it will definitely not run Warzone and Fortnite, okay? You see these videos, you see this is old, this is ancient. Do not trust these. Okay, everyone knows I'm talking about indie games, okay? You wouldn't have clicked on this fucking video. You got games like Hades, you got Arco, Hentai Killer, Stardew Valley, Darkest Dungeon, and honestly, that's all I can think of at the top of my head, because honestly, I don't play indie games. I don't play indie games. Look at this. This is bad graphics. Who the fuck even, like, this is a child's game. This is a game for my non-existent baby brother. I can't even go to a strip club. I can't even rip someone's head off. I can't have an open world where I can just shoot people. Or there's no guns whatsoever. What the fuck is this shit? Okay? I play video games to enhance my masculinity, and games are becoming so gay. But on a serious note, everyone knows indie games are not broken into the mainstream yet, okay? Every once in a while, you have a game like Stardew Valley, you have a game like Hades that just comes and wipes the absolute fucking floor with these so-called AAA games, and then it just sort of wanes in on the background and nobody even remembers that shit anymore, and then we're back to saying, oh, this is a weird looking game, why would I play this? Why wouldn't I just play the new Warzone map or some shit like that? And no, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like that I'm the first person to have ever noticed this. This is common knowledge, I know, but what I'm really here to talk about is when sometimes a game comes along that even on an indie game scale feels indie and feels just so personal from the developer to the player that it honestly just it made me feel like a kid playing my first quote-unquote proper game, where I actually felt like I am now a fucking, dare I say, gamer because I've played this game, and Arco made me feel that again. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Arco. Arco to me is the perfect type of indie game where it sets expectations and then it completely obliterates them in the best way possible. What at first seemed to me like a gimmicky Paper Mario clone ended up being a literal masterpiece on so many fronts. And I'd even go as far as to saying that this is right up there with AAA games in terms of its mechanics, in terms of its story, in terms of its writing, and overall it's just gameplay. At first I thought I was gonna make like a thorough review of this game, but I ended up coming to the conclusion where I would just pretty much praise it and just play it yourself, okay? I'm not gonna spoil anything for you. This game is the type where the writing with the use of emoticons can convey more emotion and depth than big studio games with high budget cutscenes. It's got wit, it's got character, it's got great characters, it's got a good ass art style, it has some great music, honestly some of the best music and most consistent music that I've probably ever heard in a game of this caliber. Its mechanical depth is just enough for a game of this length, where it doesn't feel like you don't have enough time to really unlock things for your character. Some people say the combat is a little vain and shallow and easy, but to me it felt like the perfect mix of advancing, progressing, getting new skills, being able to actually use those skills the way you want to, without feeling like you have to grind and sit through endless, meaningless, random encounters, which was something that I actually thought this game was gonna happen. No, every single combat encounter in this game feels meaningful and it adds to the game. There's some sort of a story behind it. There's some sort of progression behind it. So it never feels you're grinding. It feels like this is what I have to do in order to see what happens next. And that is what Arco does. I've said this a lot, but it does it the best. Arco first and foremost delivers a story on multiple fronts that never felt forced. It never felt artificial. It felt like something that could actually happen, and it was tragic. This game is sad. This game has some moments where I was just left completely speechless, with my mouth wide open. Honestly, I'm not. People say this. People say, "Oh, it left me speechless." This fucking game actually did it. Now look at it. It's a children's game. Okay, look at the graphics. I know this video comes across as very rambly and just me praising Arco, but honestly, the reason I'm making this video is that it's a love letter to games like Arco. I could easily have any other quality indie game that doesn't have the recognition that it deserves in place of Arco, but Arco was the game that did this to me. And if you have anything that you're going to take away from this video is that if you ever feel a need to go into YouTube and complain, or any other website for that matter, to complain about the state of video games, and you've never actually touched the indie game category on Steam, or God forbid whatever Microsoft Live you use, then don't do that. Go into those genres and see for yourself what great stuff people who actually care about you as a consumer have to offer. Do that and you will never, ever be dissatisfied with gaming anymore.